WCBI News at 10 starts now.
The sheriff's saga in Monroe County takes a couple of turns today. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. Less than a day after Sheriff Cecil Cantrell abruptly resigns, the race for his seat now has only one candidate. The Republican candidate, former Sheriff Andy Hood, dropped out this morning. That leaves only Justice Court Judge Kevin Crook in the race. Crook beat incumbent Cecil Cantrell in the Democratic primary. Monroe County supervisors will meet Friday to appoint a sheriff. We're told they plan to go ahead and appoint Crook as the new sheriff. New information is coming to light about an investigation into former Monroe County Sheriff Cecil Cantrell. Cantrell abruptly resigned yesterday, shortly before the primary election. A video showing what appears to be an inmate putting together a campaign sign with Cantrell's name on it began circulating. An affidavit from a state auditor special agent accuses Cantrell of acting in his official capacity as sheriff to authorize the use of inmate labor to conduct political campaign signs. The findings were given to the county prosecutor. A spokesman for the auditor's office says, quote, "Our understanding is the sheriff has resigned as a result," end quote. At this time, it's unclear whether Cantrell is facing any charges. If he is charged and convicted, Cantrell could face up to a $1,000 fine, 6 months in jail, or both punishments.
It sort of shocked me, really. I didn't expect nothing like this to happen.
I'm glad that we do have a change, which is what we need. We need new ideas, and we need honesty and integrity.
Former Sheriff Cecil Cantrell did not want to go on camera, but he did say he gave his all serving the people of Monroe County. In an update to a story we first brought you last night at 10, state and county officials briefed the public on the investigation into the second in command at the Pickens County Sheriff's Office. Chief Deputy Jonathan Gann is charged with theft of property in the second degree and tampering with physical evidence. District Attorney Andy Hamlin says Pickens County Sheriff Todd Hall brought up his concerns last week. After further discussion, they felt that an investigation was needed. The Alabama law enforcement agency State Bureau of Investigation took over as the independent department leading to the arrest.
We are relentless in our pursuit for justice. This is a very fluid, ongoing investigation. So there's very limited details outside of the actual charges and what they imply that we will release at this time.
A story will continue to follow. Gann was taken to the Tuscaloosa County Jail and has been released on bond. A Lowndes County grand jury does not indict a Columbus policeman involved in a deadly officer-involved shooting. That shooting, you may remember, happened back in November of 2017 outside of the Premier Lounge. That's off 22nd Street South. Officer Jared Booth was called to the nightclub about a disturbance. At that time, sources told WCBI that Booth was talking with a security guard when he heard 2 shots. He ran toward the gunfire and saw some men fighting over a gun. Our sources say as Ray Davis turned toward Booth, the gun was pointed at the officer. That's when Booth fired. Davis died a short time later. The Attorney General's office presented the case to the grand jury and confirmed the no-bill results. 5 sex offenders face more trouble after investigators say they didn't live where they were registered. Randy Watkins, Dallas Burkholder, Vernon Simelton, and Damasco Hicks were all arrested. Investigators say they're still searching for Omega Smith for failure to report. Watkins and Burkholder are out on bond, while Simelton and Hicks both have MDOC holds. Over the last 2 weeks, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department and U.S. Marshal Service were doing address compliance checks. These 5 men, investigators say, were not living where they said they were, leading to their arrests. There are 125 sex offenders in Lowndes County. A Columbus woman pleads guilty to aggravated assault. Renee Gibbs, she'll spend 4 years in prison for cutting a man on the arm back in April of 2018. Prosecutors say broken glass was used in the crime. Under the plea deal, she will receive credit for time served. Gibbs will also be on probation for 5 years after being released from prison. A Water Valley man is accused of not repairing a home in Monroe County. Stephen Baker, he was arrested today and charged with 1 count of home repair fraud. Monroe County investigators, they declined to release any information on the arrest, citing an ongoing investigation. In an affidavit, the victim says he and Baker entered into an agreement on July 15th, but no work on the home has been done. Baker remains in jail. Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll send things over to meteorologist Trevor Burchett. Hey there, Trevor.
Hey there, Scott. A pretty nice sunset across the region, and look who got in on it. This is our friend Leo. He belongs to our digital producer here at WCBI, Sydney. She shared this on social media. I'm asking on Twitter, who do you think is cuter, the sunset or the dog? I think the dog is going to win out. He is just way too handsome. That sunset is really nice, though. It was a very nice sunset across the area. And we should be in for a pretty nice overnight as well. Pretty dry, maybe a 10% chance of a shower or two, but that's very, very unlikely. Most of us are going to stay dry. 72 for our low, still pretty muggy out there, and patchy fog possible early tomorrow. In addition to rain chances going up by tomorrow afternoon. I'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
A water outage continues to affect many of you in Starkville. This happened after a water main was broken this afternoon near Loxley Way and Montgomery Street. Equipment problems and the discovery that the pipe was larger than they first thought, that's slowed repairs down. Several businesses in the area reportedly shut down early due to that outage. Now, once the problem is fixed, the affected area will be under a boil water notice for at least 2 days. North Mississippi is no stranger to tornadoes. Now towns and counties are teaming up and using the knowledge they learned to help each other during a recovery. It's happening in Columbus and Chickasaw County, and our Stephanie Poole tells us why this partnership could save lives.
If you're ever caught in severe weather, Chickasaw County has you covered. There are over 30 storm shelters in the county. EMA Director Linda Griffin says the shelters benefit first responders and residents.
Instead of one large location for everybody to try to rush to, we spread them out all over Chickasaw County, and it gives citizens and first responders a better chance of getting to a safe location quicker.
Chickasaw County received grant money to build the shelters after a deadly 2011 tornado outbreak. Each location can hold around 35 people and withstand 250 miles per hour winds. The shelters are built next to a fire station to also help first responders.
So we wanted a safe location for them besides that metal building if in the event of a tornado. Especially law enforcement is out helping us watch the weather, watch the skies, and reporting back to 911 if they see anything. And you got to have a place for them to go to immediately, so that's why we widespread all over.
Columbus Public Information Officer Joe Dillon says the city is working a similar plan, using Chickasaw County as a model.
We've turned in what's called a notice of intent to tell the state that we would like to be put on the list to build up to 20 storm shelters. We learned in our February storm that our first responders are the ones that are in the field rescuing people. They're pulling trees off of houses. They're responding to the emergency needs, and right now we don't have a storm shelter for them.
Some of the shelters will be at the city's 5 fire stations and others throughout the city at the cost of about $96,000. Griffin and Dillon agree cost is not an issue when it comes to the safety of citizens and first responders.
And a lot of times you don't know until we go under a warning that you even have severe weather, and that gives you a little closer location if they're widespread and don't have that driving time.
Columbus has applied for a disaster grant to pay for the shelters. If the city is approved, construction will begin immediately.
Well, Scott, no severe weather on the Alpha Insurance Camera Network tonight. That's welcome news for everybody. Just a few clouds out there. Everybody's staying dry for the most part. That won't be the story come tomorrow, though. Scattered storms return. I'll have that full forecast right after this.
Here's your WCBI First Alert weather forecast.
A few clouds bubbling up through the day today on our Alpha Insurance Camera Network time lapse. Notice, though, we really start to get some storms churning by the evening hours, and then as the sun sets, take a look at this. Colors soaring through the sky as the sun sets on the other side of town. And you can see we flipped the camera around at the last minute so you can get a look at those purples, pinks, and oranges silhouetted by just a few storm clouds starting to pop up. Not everybody saw rain today. Most people stayed dry. We had a few showers down in Wcbi County earlier, but not much of that made it anywhere close to the Golden Triangle or Columbus. Here's a live look in Louisville. Very calm conditions. Just a few clouds out there. No rain anywhere close to Louisville. And that's the same story up here in Columbus at WCBI. Calm night down on on 5th Street and College here in downtown. Just a few cars out there, but again, a few clouds in the sky, not much of anything going on. You'll notice all across the region, calm conditions are the main story. A few clouds being reported in Tupelo right now, but most everybody else is dry and clear. 81 right now in Tupelo, they're the warm spot. We're down to 70 in Starkville, 79 for our friends up in Corinth, and we are 76 right now here in the Friendly City. Here's a look at those wider temperatures. Again, 81 in Tupelo, that looks like the warm spot all across the map. We are 75 in Calhoun City, 76 here in Columbus, 77 down in Louisville, and 74 down to the south in Philadelphia. Here's a look at that radar, and you can see most everybody is dry. There's some showers over in central Alabama, and we had some showers over in the Delta earlier that affected our friends right there along I-55. Those have since continued to push out and are now right there along the Mississippi River, and they'll continue to make their way westward into Arkansas over the next few hours or so, leaving us mostly dry overnight. Of course, summertime showers could bring some rainbows. Here's a look at this picture sent in to us by Heather Templeton. Notice a very vibrant rainbow there in Oktok. Some places even saw a double rainbow. Absolutely beautiful view out there. We got plenty of pictures in today. Don't have time to show all of them. I wish we did because they were absolutely gorgeous. But remember, if you want to see your pictures on TV, you can send them in to us on social media. We're on Facebook at WCBI Weather, Twitter and Instagram at WCBI Weather as well. And if you want to email them to us off your phone, you can send those to us at weather@WCBI.com. We would love to show them on air and show your pictures off. For tonight, we'll get down to 72, maybe a shower or two. Most everybody are going to stay dry. Those showers have already started to fizzle out. The problem area is going to be tomorrow, though. We might have some patchy fog, especially in areas that saw rain today. And with those winds staying relatively calm, that could be a problem into the early morning hours. So keep that in mind as you head off to work and school tomorrow. Another problem tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms still in the forecast, especially afternoon. Highs are going to be a little cooler, though. We'll only be in the low 90s. You can see on Futurecast, we'll stay clear overnight tonight for the most part, maybe a few clouds off to the south and west. That's going to stay the same story into the early morning hours. We do start to see maybe some showers by the early morning, and then by the afternoon, like I said, by about lunchtime, we'll see widespread scattered showers and storms. This is still not going to be everybody is going to see a washout type deal, but it's going to be a little more widespread than we've seen over the last couple of days, and those could last even into the afternoon and evening hours. So this is something we'll keep an eye on. Of course, we will keep you updated right here on WCBI and on our social media platforms. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. We'll keep it at a 40% chance of rain for tomorrow, but we increase those rain chances for the end of the week and into the weekend. So keep that umbrella handy if you've got any type of weekend plans. Temperatures are going to be down just a little bit into the mid-80s by the weekend, slowly creeping up, though, as those rain chances diminish just a little bit by next week. Scott?
All right, Trevor, thank you very much. Teachers' assistants are often the backbone of the classroom, and they help keep things running pretty smoothly. Geneva Rowe is our Educator of the Week, and she does that and more every day. Rowe is a teacher's assistant at Bell Shivers Middle School, and her school year is off to a busy start, helping fifth graders with multiplication, division, and using decimals.
If a child is struggling in a certain area, then that teacher assistant is able to pull that child, one-on-one and work with that child. They want that hug every day, and I'm looking forward to giving them, that hug every day. I just love kids, and I love being around kids.
And I think that's actually Bell Shivers. Apologize about that. Now, to nominate an educator, just visit WCBI.com. The high school football tour is nearing an end. The next to the last stop is the Hive. Tom has that later in sports.
WCBI's Educator of the Week is brought to you by Food Giant, where your neighbors are the owners. You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. We're just over 30 days away from fall. I know that I can't wait, but what we need to look ahead to are those fall allergies. We talk about them in our Health Talk with Baptist.
In addition to ragweed, what are some of the other triggers of fall allergies? The fall can be especially difficult for people who are sensitive to mold and ragweed pollen, but these seasonal elements aren't the only triggers that can make symptoms worse at this time of year. While most people enjoy Indian summer, unseasonably warm temperatures can make hay fever symptoms last longer. While ragweed is the most common trigger, in some parts of the country, goldenrod, English plantain, lamb's quarters, pigweed, and others can all trigger fall allergies. Mold is another fall trigger. You may think of mold growing in your basement or bathroom, damp areas in your house, but mold spores also love wet spots outside. Piles of damp leaves, compost piles, and damp soil are ideal breeding grounds for mold. Mold spores are light, very small, and easily inhaled into the lungs. Raking leaves agitates pollen and mold spores into the air. Don't forget dust mites. While they're common during the humid summer months, they can get started into the air for the first time when you turn on your heat in the fall. Dust mites can trigger sneezing, wheezing, and runny noses. Join us next time for Health Talk with the Baptist, and we'll discuss how to protect yourself against fall allergies.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The expectations are high yet again in Starkville, but then again, they're always high in Jacket Country. Stop number 59 on the high school football tour is next in sports.
Here's WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
It's the most wonderful time of year and time yet again to announce our game of the week. To kick off 2019, we had to do it big, and there was only one way to do it, and that was to feature one of the best rivalries in the state of Mississippi. The Toothpick Bowl era is in the past. New era, new name. It's the Highway 14 Bowl. Two of the top football programs in the state, 35 miles apart, directly east-west on Highway 14. The Louisville Wildcats taking on the Knoxville County Tigers in Week 1. It's a new version of Master vs. Apprentice. Tyrone Shorter and the Wildcats will face Teddy Young and the Tigers inside the Tiger Den. 14 state championships combined, starting the season with a bang. We'll be live from Knoxville County at 5 and 6 to kick off the brand new high school football season. To the high school football tour, just 2 more stops remaining, saving some of the best for last. Stop number 59 features one of the favorites in Class 6A, the Starkville Yellow Jackets. Starkville will have to replace a ton of Division I talent from a year ago, but it's always next man up in Jacket Country.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
It's state championship or bust when you suit up in the black and yellow. Starkville fell short of its goal in 2018, falling to eventual state champ Horn Lake in the second round. So what did head coach Chris Jones do? Surrounded himself with winners. The Jackets adding coordinators Randall Montgomery and Rashawn Westerfield from 4A champion Louisville. DC Charles Heron brings championship pedigree from West Point. Jones hoping their winning ways can bring back a gold ball to Starkville.
Winning is contagious, and if you get the right guys around you, I feel like you're going to always have a chance because winners just know how to do stuff the right way. They're going to prepare, they're going to work hard, and they're going to lead their kids the right way. So I feel like we got a pretty good staff, and hopefully it'll pay off in the long run.
Starkville returns plenty of talent in 2019, led by the lethal connection between Luke Altmaier and Rufus Harvey. Another year of a loaded skill group for Starkville has the Jackets feeling the sky is the limit offensively.
I feel very confident with them back there. We had to work on our condition for a couple of years now. I feel like we got it down pat now.
Yeah, it's good to have those guys around. They help me, tremendously. They're great players. They're great leaders as well. They come out every day and they practice hard. They show it out on Friday night.
Everybody knows, that every league is quarterback driven, so whether it's Pee Wee League or, college ball or NFL, if you got a quarterback, you got a chance. And I feel like we got a pretty good quarterback, and he got some good toys to play with around him. We got some players who can make plays, and his job is to kind of, be a point guard, just distribute the ball and get his guys the ball in space and, just make the right decision.
Most of the starters returning in 2019 knows what it takes to reach a state championship, playing as freshman and sophomore on the 2017 team. Last season's disappointing end has the Yellow Jackets refocused on another deep playoff run.
We know what it takes to be great. We have a bunch of coaches who, lead us to be great, and that's what it takes, after practice and the off season. In the cold weather in January and February, you have to get together with your guys, work.
And that year, everybody came together, it was just like, all the pieces was filled up. We ain't just finished strong. So, and this year, we're gonna finish strong and we're gonna do what we gotta do and go and get a gold ball.
Starkville's season begins on the road at Brandon this Friday. With the Yellow Jackets on the high school football tour, Tom Ebel, WCBI Sports. Just one more stop left on the high school football tour. Closing it out with none other than the Columbus Falcons. Catching up with new head coach Josh Polfus and the Falcons later tomorrow at 6 and 10. If you've missed any of the stops up to this point, go over to our website, WCBI.com, or our social media accounts at Facebook and Endzone at WCBI Endzone. And also, high school football begins tomorrow. A little bit of appetizer before the big show on Friday. Tishomingo County at TCPS. We'll have those highlights for you tomorrow as well. That's it for sports. Last look at your forecast is next.
A few scattered showers and storms in the forecast for tomorrow, but we really ramp up those rain chances for the end of the week and for the weekend. So, Scott, no pool day on Saturday. Grab the umbrella if you've got any plans. Rain chance is going to last into early next week.
Sounds like a taco soup /
movie, anything inside, bowling maybe, anything.
Actually, that's not half a bad idea.
Laser
Bowling's
tag right up the road.
That's a lot of fun. All right, thanks, Trevor. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.